Welcome in, kia ora, to another episode of the Pop Fathers. We got regular crew, Trev, Nick, Tom popping on. Special guest, Bernie Wilson. Bro Wilson, thank you so much for popping on. How you doing on this lovely Sunday night here in San Diego?
I'm doing really good looking at all these bros across my screen. Got a gin and tonic rocking. It's life is good in East County.
I love it. Love it. Yeah, no, when Trevor was more of a regular, that's when we got the YouTube rolling. Had to show the face. Yeah, it was he's not a radio guy. He's definitely more of a TV media. But Trev, how you doing?
Doing good, man. Got to rock what you got. Happy to be here. So stoked that our bro Wilson is here. We're gonna get hyped and hyphy. Can't wait.
Love it. Nikki, how you been?
Good, man. Getting post Super Bowl wheels start turning a little bit. I mean, I think I said this last podcast. I was kind of trying to give myself a little tolerance break from baseball, give myself some breathing room, but fired up. We got some transactions going on. We got guys at camp. We got bats being swung. We got Bernie Wilson on the pod, dude. Fired up.
Love it. I love it. Now, I also love the fact that AJ is making a ton of moves on V-Day. Mr. Solo AJ just slinging it when everyone else probably on like a sneaky little night out or something. Tommy
On V-Day.
On V-Day. How you doing, Mr. 245?
Yeah, doing good. A little bit tired, but I'm happy to be on. So much ball knowledge on this podcast. I'm excited for it.
Oh yeah. Appreciate you popping on per usual. This man is so dedicated. He's got class in about 6 hours. So maybe 7. We'll call it that.
6,
But
7.
yeah, no, we've had a lot of movement finally. Starting to get the wheels turning. Like Nick said, post Super Bowls when it starts to get a little real. Everyone gets into the kind of baseball mindset. You got March Madness coming up. That's a nice little, segue into baseball as well. But had a few new signings this past week. We got the opening day roster kind of coming together. I feel like getting a little accelerated, especially with the WBC coming up. So I think a lot of teams you're going to start to see a bit more finalization earlier in spring training as opposed to kind of the mid tail end that we've seen a couple seasons on the bounce here. But Bernie, I'm going to kind of pick your brain here a little bit. First time on, we like to ask some fun questions and whatnot. But in regards to the career path, 42 years at the AP, is that correct?
Not quite 41.
41?
I believe, according to Baseball Reference, it would have been 40 years, 295 days.
Oh, so we're
Yeah,
about
service
100
time.
shy.
Yeah,
I love it.
longer than you guys have been alive, I'm guessing.
Yep.
That's about 4 Toms in terms of time span. So that's awesome. And then LA, then to SD. Is that kind of the path that you ended up taking?
Spokane, LA, SD.
Spokane. Nice.
Right down the West Coast.
University of Idaho, I believe.
Idaho, the Vandals. Yep.
Yeah, little Mark Schlereth, I
Ease
think.
up.
Very good. Mark Schlereth, John Freeze, Jerry Kramer, Gus
his
Johnson.
brother.
Those two guys are going way back. But
Gus Johnson.
Yeah, do you ever heard of the Gus Johnson? There's a bar in Moscow called the Corner Club. And Gus Johnson, when he was hooping out for the Vandals, jumped flat-footed start, touched a beam about 11 feet off the ceiling. So they drove a nail into that spot, and that was Gus Johnson's nail. This is like in the 1960s.
Still there?
Yeah. No, sadly, Idaho decided to the state of Idaho put one of those stupid highway bypasses through Moscow. And they took out the front part of the Corner Club, and with it, the nail still exists, but they took out the original Corner Club, but the owners of the Corner Club wisely built a back section in anticipation of that day. So there is a Corner Club, just not the original, but they saved the Gus Johnson nail. So
I like it.
Yeah, there are a few Vandals in the world, but those who are Vandals are very special. And as they say, you can't hold a candle to a Vandal.
I love it. I've never heard that one. Tom, fun fact, you can thank a Vandal for completing the Chunnel. I looked that up. Correct? The little British.
Really?
I think they did the head of, I was doing some research here. Head engineer with building the train through the British Channel there, aka the Channel.
Wow.
So,
I did not know that.
And another great thing about Vandals is we don't screw goats like they do at Boise State.
Tom.
Yeah.
It's sheep in Wales and New Zealand. So
I bet Tom and I could have a good conversation about sheep.
I mean, there's what, 3-1? Was it 3-1, 4-1 in Wales now?
3 sheep to every 1 person in Wales.
Wow.
A Welsh man's best friend, as they say.
Wow. Well, Ryan, I think in New Zealand, we had a New Zealand discussion. Aren't there like 20 million sheep for every person?
Just about. Yeah. It's
3 million. Maybe it's 3 somewhere.
Yeah.
It's an insane number. You're not going to go dayless if you're a Kiwi.
No, we are the official. I mean, us in Wales, sheep shaggers. There you go. So the official sheep shaggers. A lot of similarities between New Zealand and Wales. That is definitely one of them. We have more cattle now than humans, so we're kind of a sneaky South American little country tucked down there. So, but yeah, no, that's awesome. In regards to growing up, then, so Padres, was it 93? When did you come over to?
I came down here in 91.
91. Okay, so about like Trev, Nick, and I. That's kind of when we got rolling. In regards to, because it was state, Padres, Chargers, America's Cup. We were just talking off air on that. Did you have a favorite or someone in kind of that you interviewed coming in that was very personable or something that stuck out in your first time coming down here?
Tony Gwynn, obviously. I mean, anybody who got to cover Tony Gwynn, I mean, he'll forever be, the top guy because, I knew about the Padres obviously before coming to San Diego, but, the thing about Tony was he understood the media, that we had a job to do. He could get the red ass with us, and he loved that term, man. And it got to the point where we could go, "Hey, Tony, you got the red ass today?" He goes, "Yeah," that whole stuff of his. But he could be pissed at you, but then 5 minutes later, you're sitting down talking with him, and he's laughing with that big old laugh of his.
Yeah.
But you could set the atomic clock to Tony Gwynn every afternoon at 4:00. This was in the glory days of our beloved, long departed Jack Murphy Stadium. He'd come down, sit in the dugout, 4:00 sharp, and he was available for whatever you needed, whoever needed him, he was there. You could talk about that night's game, the previous night's game, movies, food, whatever. TV shows, his bat, his cleats, stupid stuff, baseball stuff, anything. 4:00 sharp. Yeah, no, he was absolutely the best. And again, like I said, he could get the red ass with you, but 5 minutes later, he was laughing his ass off. Hey, he'd always bust us on. And the Tony Gwynn opening day was a real thing. He would second home game of the season, he would look around and see who was there, and then mentally check his notes against who was there on opening day but didn't come for the second game. And he would bust guys' chops, and it was a real thing to him. If you're too good to show up on day 2, then don't come up to me and he was a dude. That. He was an absolute dude. Not to mention, one of the greatest ball players ever.
Damn right,
Bernie. Cheers to Tony Gwynn, huh?
Cheers to Tony Gwynn. I got a gin and tonic, and tonic right here.
I got an empty high noon.
Cheers.
And the Padres were so shitty. Pardon my French, but it needs to be said. So shitty in the mid-90s that we had a baseball editor on our New York desk, Ben Walker. He loved Tony Gwynn stories. He would take a Tony Gwynn story every day if I could write one. And there was literally nothing else about the Padres that was in there. Than Tony Gwynn. And
he was the mainstay.
And I'd say, "Hey Ben, you want a Tony Gwynn story?" I'd love a Tony Gwynn story. I would love a Tony Gwynn story. I say, "Okay, here's a Tony Gwynn story." In fact, they were so crappy. I'd go over to spring training. They only gave us sometimes 5 days over there, which covering some Padres teams was 5 days too many. But I would always start off with the Tony Gwynn story. In fact, I had a Tony Gwynn story teed up to run the day Joe DiMaggio died. Obviously, we didn't know Joe DiMaggio was going to die, but Joe DiMaggio died. That sort of owned the cycle, as they would say now. obviously that was the biggest sports story and news story in America that day, but I still managed to sneak in a Tony Gwynn story that day. On the day Joe DiMaggio died, the baseball desk took a Tony Gwynn story because they love Tony Gwynn. And it's like, who didn't love Tony Gwynn? And then when he became coach at SDSU, I would do an interview with Tony once a season. I mean, and not to bag on the Aztecs, but if you're a San Diego college baseball team and you've never even been to the super regionals, get your ass in gear and get there. But Tony tried his best to turn his alma mater into a winner. But I would do a Tony Gwynn story every spring and sit in that messy office of his. And I mean, it was a mess. There was just crap everywhere. He had stuff and more stuff, but that was Tony Gwynn, and I think he appreciated it. And I'd always bring something for him to sign. To a certain point, you sort of put that ethics thing aside. I had I came walking in for one interview with a big Target bag with 3 boxes of Wheaties with him on the cover, and he just motioned, "Give me the Sharpie, 3 boxes of 3 Wheaties boxes." Had him sign the Tony Gwynn Wheaties boxes. You're not supposed to do that, but nobody was looking. So
Tony loved signing.
Yeah, he did. Yeah, he was such a good dude. That's the thing. It was so sad when he died.
Yeah.
I haven't cried much in my career, but I did that day. I will admit, I cried because you get to know a guy, and he went through a lot of shit that people just don't understand how bad it was. But just and he was so personable, and he'd flip us shit, we'd flip him shit. You can't do that with the modern day player. You just can't. And I won't go too far down this rabbit hole, but I've told the Padre PR guys a couple of times over the years, so-and-so might be a great player, but he's no Tony Gwynn. I know that might be an unfair comparison, but in San Diego, it's Tony Gwynn and everybody else who has come through here. And
totally agree.
He walked in, when he was working for Channel 4, he came in to the press box like the first series or first game and goes, "You guys have a soda machine in the press box. I can't believe it. You got a soda machine in the press box."
Well, yeah, Mud's up there. Of course there's a soda machine.
And you can use it anytime because you're Mr. Padre, and you never got to play here as a Padre, but you're the reason. It's one of the big reasons Petco Park exists. So
yeah.
Absolutely. But no, I treasure any Tony Gwynn memory. Then he was absolutely number one.
Yeah, I mean it's a constant. Whenever, I mean, you're always from the outside. You always hear, how people are, how they tolerate everyone. How they are in front of a camera, in front of a microphone versus behind the scenes. And it seems like every single person that ever talks about Tony Gwynn, just kind of like with Randy Jones as well. Like it's just everyone has that they want to go and talk about him. It's like that jubilee of just like how good of a player he was, obviously, but then the person behind it as well. Like you could just see it through anything that, even without meeting the guy, just any bit of video, interviews, he just was Tony. And it's so having Tony Gwynn Jr. on the broadcast now, like it's just such a, I mean, I don't know if he sounds identical to Tony.
He does.
Bernie, but like to me, it's just like, even the laugh like is pretty uncanny. It's just it's, I don't know, as San Diego needed a player and a person like Tony so badly when he came through, and he literally, like you mentioned, it's Tony Gwynn and everybody else, and not just from the player standpoint, from a person standpoint.
Ryan, kind of tacking on there, it's such a resounding response from everyone that would cross paths with him or watch him. Like I had the benefit of playing for 3 really excellent coaches when I was, in my teen years playing baseball. 3 guys that played college ball, 3 guys that played professional ball, never made it to the big leagues, but they're all San Diego guys and they're in the baseball community and they made it all the way to professional baseball. And the amount of times that they would reference Tony Gwynn in a positive light, whether it be on the field, how to carry yourself off the field, how to talk, like how to just talk to people around the game,
humility,
was incredible. And like it had this like mystifying feeling to it of, you guys don't understand because you were really little when he like was playing, but this guy's larger than life and he is the real deal, and you should really emulate everything this guy's doing. And it was great. And I'll give you one quick Tony Gwynn story. I've only met him one time. And it was a San Diego State versus USD like scrimmage game. And I went down there. This is before USD had the beautiful field, so it's just like the row of bleacher seats and then like nothing on the sides. But there were some bathrooms down the third baseline. And I went down and I was going to the bathroom. I was going to the bathroom. I'm going in, and Tony Gwynn, this is like the end of his coaching days, right? So it's a big man, Tony Gwynn, right? He's coming out, and I see him from about 30 feet away, and I'm like, holy shit, that's Tony Gwynn. And the first thing I noticed was Tony Gwynn. Second thing I noticed is that his fly was just wide open. Just wide open fly. Oh. And in my mind, at the time I'm probably 13, 14. Yeah. I'm like, baseball's the most important thing to me. And I'm like, I have to say hello. But do I tell him that his fly's down? And I shake his hand. He's like, hey, how's it going, man? Like, nice to meet you. And I was like, hey, Tony, I really look up to you, blah, 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 blah. Then he walked off, and I go, who am I to tell, 12-time batting champion, whatever, however numbers it was, that his fly's down? Like, guy's a legend. Who cares?
That's awesome.
You could have had some fun with him and said, hey, Tony, I'm calling the infield fly rule. If he caught on.
I was too young. I didn't have that.
Just like, oh my gosh.
I definitely heard red ass, though. I think all my coaches got red ass from Tony, because I know Tony said that, and they all said it.
Yeah, and again, he was human. He could be in a bad mood. He could be mad at something or somebody, but and he was entitled to have the red ass, and he knew it. But we could bust his chops. We'd go up to him, hey, Tony, you got the red ass again today? And he'd laugh, ha, 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 ha. And and again, you just don't get that kind of player anymore. It's sad, but true. And I know we all have to move on. Times change, but there will never, ever be another Tony Gwynn, not in this city, not ever, not anywhere.
I was just going to say, Bernie, is there anyone currently on the Padres or even just in baseball that you think, not just, Tony's one of one, right? But that has that kind of approachability, very like the humility with the reporters and everything, where it's just like, doesn't matter all the time. Like,
right? Suarez.
In fact, I'm sorry, what's that?
You like Suarez, Eugenio?
I love Gino Suarez. Gino Suarez is my spirit animal, if that's acceptable. But we'll get to Gino in just a minute, Gino sidebar. But on the Padres, like my East County guy, Joe Musgrove, very approachable. Tatis.
Great family.
Oh, yeah. They used to live around the corner from us up here in Fletcher Hills. In fact, good friends with his mom and his dad. Great people. Just salt of the earth. Diane and Mark. And he's very approachable. Tatis is too. Tatis very approachable. He's always sitting at his locker post game, going through his phone, probably posting on IG. Every once in a while, I shouldn't say this, but every once in a while I'll see a Bebo IG story pop up, and I always, sometimes not often, I'll pop in and respond, "Hola, Bebo," or something like that. Just mess with him a little bit. He probably gets tens of thousands of those, but he's approachable. A lot of the guys are, and so when I say there'll never be another Tony Gwynn, let me say asterisk of that caliber. All-star, generational talent, Hall of Famer. But there are some great guys. But my Gino Suarez story 3 or 4 years ago. And I know the Vetter Cup has become a thing of sore contention here in San Diego after Vetter and the Cubs and whatnot. But 3 or 4 years ago, it was on July 4th, I believe, the Mariners had a very big Vetter Cup game victory against the Padres. And the scribes were waiting around to talk to whoever the hero was that day. And Gino Suarez just sort of saunters by, grabs himself a Pacifico out of the cooler. They have those big round beer coolers. And he goes, anybody want a beer? Just like you're at a frat party or a high school keg, or hey, anybody want a beer? And we all said, no, sorry, we're working, but we appreciate the thought. And the next day I thanked him for thinking of us. I said we'd love to, but we really can't. We're not supposed to.
On the clock, yeah.
On the clock, I'd love to, but and then in subsequent either Vetter Cups or like last year when he was with the Diamondbacks, I always go up to him and remind him of what a thoughtful gesture it was. And so we chatted and laughed. And then last year he told me I don't drink anymore. And I said, good for you, but I always will appreciate your, very generous offer. So, when I really was hoping that, the Mariners would have made the World Series just for Gino's sake. So
I was hoping the Padres were maybe going to snag him.
Man, that would have been so epic. Yeah. He's a sweetheart of a man. And I have no problem saying that about you guys are all sweetheart of men too. But Gino is just a sweetheart. He really is. I mean, just a great human being, and love to see him hit home runs.
Hits a lot of them.
Yes, he does.
He's a stud. Yeah, you would have been a perfect fit here.
Okay, wait. Before we move on, Bernie, you were talking about approachability for guys. I have a question about a guy that I wonder how approachable he was. He gets brought up on this pod quite a bit because of me. He's my all-time favorite Padre, my all-time inspiration to be a baseball player. I know you covered him, or you were covering the Padres while he was here. I need you to go into the depths. I need you to go into the depths, and I need you to give me something on my boy, Khalil Green.
Khalil Green, another sweetheart of a man, but just, I mean, he was a kind human being. He was just, I'm struggling to define him because he was just so low key. It's almost like, dude, do you have a heartbeat right now?
Yeah.
He was just so
reptile.
Yeah, just so low key. And apparently, apparently he was thick. He was cut. But he wore the baggy pants, the baggy jersey to cover that. Yeah, the swaggy and baggy, but he wasn't into swag. And I think Nevin made the comment one time about, dude, show that you're ripped.
Show your rig, dude.
Yeah, your sun's out, guns out. Show your guns every once in a while. But he was humble and low key. He was approachable. Don't get me wrong. But people probably also thought that he was boring. Thankfully, it was before social media, I believe. But he was a nice guy. He just, Trevor broed, or he didn't have the riz that some guys have these days. The swagger, but that was fine. He did his thing, and he ate healthy. He ate healthy, loved his tuna fish, probably ate it straight out of the can. And, it was just sad the way things ended with his career. His swing, with sliders outside, he'd strike out automatically, and it just seemed like he absolutely burned out. Crash, didn't crash land. He flew straight into the mountain.
Yeah.
But no, he was a great guy, Nick. So if he was your boy, you chose well. You chose well.
Talks about him so much.
Yeah, I believe, wasn't it? This was so long ago, that 22-inning game. Wasn't it a Khalil Green error that led to the only run in that game? I might be wrong, and I'm not bagging on him.
I kind of remember that.
Yeah, have certain moments that stick in what little is left of my brain. I covered that game, and then the 18-inning game a few weeks later. But no, Khalil was a dude's dude. He was just, wherever he is, he's one of those guys you hope he is having a great and rewarding life post-baseball.
Yeah. So, I think Klesko was on someone's show or pod, and I think, he's on Ben Woods. Yep. And then he was talking about it on another one as well that I heard. And I think Khalil pretty much talks to because he went to University of Miami, right? Is that
no, Clemson.
Clemson, yeah.
Clemson, because he lives in Florida now, and I think he only has like contact with like his head coach there. Is like pretty much where he gets info that Khalil's still kicking it. He's like living in the swamp in Florida, apparently, just in the middle of nowhere. No one hears from him.
But just a really, really good human being.
Yeah.
And there's so many bad human beings right now. Nick, I'm glad you brought up a good one.
Yeah.
Thank God.
Yeah.
I mean, I always had that impression of him. I from a young age, I liked to play sort of low key, and if I hit a big home run, I tried to like do it like Khalil, like show, act like I've been there before, kind
Business,
of
baby.
thing.
Now you're bat flipping.
Now I'm bat flipping. Now the tides have changed, man. It's like not cool to do that anymore. But I'll tell you one little thing about Khalil. You're talking about how ripped he was. The only time that I met him in person was at like a fan fest. Like you go to fan fest and he had like a t-shirt on, but he popped the jersey on top. I'll tell you what, when you see that man up close, he was only about 5'10", but my God, that dude had a chest. I mean, I remember being like 12 years old, being like, Dad, did you see how big he was? Like, just, hey, what's up? I'm Khalil Green. Like, I mean, shredded. And like, you never would think it because, like you're saying, Bernie rocked the baggiest jersey ever. Tom, you can tune out. You were not even a thought in your parents' eyes at the time, so don't worry about it. But yeah, man, it's that's good to hear. I appreciate you sharing a little bit about that.
He was a good dude, just a good
forever
dude.
My guy.
Good.
In regards to, I know we were talking a little AJ Smith, so long. Not going to go down that rabbit hole for you, Bernie, but different GM, AJ Preller. Funny enough, I just made that connection. Actually, we've had a couple AJs here in San Diego at the helm. Last year of his contract, are you a big AJ guy? You want him to stick around for the long term? I'm sure he's probably not the easiest with media because he probably says the same thing, but maybe behind closed doors he's a little different. I don't know. But.
Here's the thing about AJ and Trevor. I hope this doesn't hurt you, but
I'm heartbroken already. I know what's coming.
But this has to do with socializing. AJ is not the most media friendly guy. He's not an asshole like some of these, like AJ Smith was an asshole. I have no problem saying that. He was an asshole. We didn't kiss his ass, so he was an asshole to us, at least certain media members. And I still have as many Super Bowl rings as he does. The Spanos have the exact same number. But AJ Preller, he's just dealing with the media isn't his gig, and he hosed me a couple times. Not big, but little things you remember. I think he has a couple guys here and there that he'll take care of, but he never did me, which is fine. It's not, what's that saying? It's not personal, it's business.
Kevin AC, one of them.
It's a weird thing. I don't know anymore. But put it this way: he does not have the media savvy and relationship that our guy Kevin Towers had. There will never be another Kevin Towers in San Diego either. KT was awesome with us. Now AJ is a little different. That's fine. That's his own deal. But the thing that I respect about AJ Preller, more years than not, he shows up to the holiday happy hour. Which is a couple of his scribes started, God, I think they were 12 years ago now, at the saloon in Encinitas, not far
Leucadian,
from
right?
What's that, bro?
Leucadian?
Well, now it's at the Leucadian, but it started out at
saloon.
The saloon. It has another name in Encinitas, not far from the Paloma Theater. Is that how you pronounce it?
I went there with AJ. That's how he bought my love.
Okay, yeah, that's right.
Went there in shelter.
A Brola, but AJ Preller would show up. We would invite all sorts of people, just a bunch of slapdick sports writers. Jay Paris led the charge, just having a first Friday in December. Hey, show up at 4:30 at the saloon. It's now moved to the Leucadian, but Preller would show up more often than not. In fact, there's a famous picture of Preller, Bud Black, and Hacksaw Hamilton.
And Hacksaw,
I've seen it. Yeah, that's a great photo.
I mean, the saloon is just this classic dive bar, dark. It's got booths with the overstuffed whatever that it's probably fake leather, naga hide or whatever. Jay there's a not Papa John's. What's the Little Caesars pizza, bowls of pretzels. And it would have been a great punk rock album cover from 1978, but Bud Black was pissed. The picture was taken by a friend of Jay Paris named Bill Prawl, who was, we call him Nebraska Jesus because he's from Nebraska. And at one point he had long hair, but he grew up, born in Nebraska, but he spent a lot of time in the 70s in Orange County. So if you weren't alive in the 70s, my apologies. We pushed the limits on a lot of stuff. But anyway, so that picture exists. mandatory photo credit, Nebraska Jesus. But that's what the holiday happy hour is all about. Where else can you get AJ Preller, Bud Black, who was fired just a few years earlier by said AJ Preller, and Hacksaw.
And now he's back. To be fair, buddy.
And we always invite like Buddy Black's usually the first bull out of the chute. He's there at 4:30 on the dot. Dave Roberts, I know he's not liked here, but he's a friend of the Scribes. Dave Roberts has been there many times. I'm trying to think. Brad Osmus, probably at one point we had 3 or 4 big league managers at the same time
at the
holiday happy hour. Maybe I don't know. I'd have to. We don't keep a guest list, but it was it was like a fluid situation, and so this last year, December 6th or whatever the first Friday was, we moved it to the Leucadians a few years ago, a classic dive bar that has a nice outdoors area with a taco kitchen, taqueria type place. But this year, I know Trevor was supposed to be there. Buddy Black was supposed to be there, but that was the day of the bridge jumper over I-5 that snarled traffic. Yep. See, in my old age, I take the trolley to the coaster and Uber, so there's no way I'm getting a DUI on holiday. I'm going to get there in one piece and get home. So mass transit is king. So I made it. Trevor unfortunately didn't make it, and I had some swag for him, some old media guides and a Michael King bobblehead. Don't worry, bro, I still got him in my garage. But I texted Buddy a picture of a beer. I said, "Where are you, bro?" And he goes, "I'm not going to make it. The bridge jumper snarled traffic, but that beer looks really good."
Traffic was insane.
Hacksaw couldn't make it. Apparently, he was pissed. And even the taco truck people.
They didn't make it.
They did. Well, they did later, but they were stuck in the traffic jam. And it's like, we're all sitting there. We'd love a big old
hungry
quesadilla or taco, but they were stuck in traffic. But at a certain point, who walks in but AJ Preller, the general manager of your 2026 World Series champion.
That's right.
San Diego Padres. He walks in and he was not about to miss it. Now he lives in Encinitas, so maybe it was
easy
easy drive up the 101 or whatever. Yeah. But to his credit, he made it. And in fact, now that I'm retired, I can be a little loosey goosey. I took a selfie with him. I said, "Hey, would you do the V's up for the Vandals?" And he said, "Sure, why not?" And so I got a selfie of doing the V's up for the Vandals with AJ. And he had, to his credit, he showed up. He didn't have a lot of time because he was catching a red eye to the East Coast. I don't know if it was the winter meetings or to see his family or something, but people were just, how they're, "Hey, Jay, can I get a picture? Can you sign this? Hey, what do you got any movies?" He's just very popular. And he was sort of getting a little antsy because he had to get down to the airport. And finally he had to jet, but he's just so low key.
Yeah, he's super low key. Yeah.
And he was a dude, a bro. He was mixing with the people. I mean,
I like that.
I'm from Idaho. I'm not hoity-toity at all. I'm just a guy. I hang out with like-minded people like Nebraska Jesus, who probably blew his mind out on acid in the 70s. But Preller shows up at the holiday happy hour more often than not. And that's what I like to think about AJ. He's a GM of the people. So that's my AJ Preller story.
I like it. He's been here a decade pretty much, right? So
11 years, 12 years. Right?
12, I think. Yeah. So I don't know. We're big fans of AJ. Just when you go, especially in between KT and AJ, it was a bit of a mess, and just I don't know, just him and Peter just meshed so well, and him carrying out Peter's vision. AJ's down to sling any which way and listen to every single offer there is. And I think that was such a awesome little marriage that they had there for a few years. So, it would be interesting to see if we had that little comment. Marty Caswell did a great job this morning getting Manny at that interview, and Manny throwing a little bit of shade at Group, which I saw, it seemed like, or at least maybe some shade at the ownership, only getting one done. So
I missed that. I'm usually a day behind on stuff. Was Manny saying they got to get AJ signed?
Yeah, he said interesting that we've had both these guys here for 10 years and only one signed or something like that. And I was
said it's kind of weird that only one has signed an extension.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, and you know what, Manny's got he's got that pull. He's you know the leader of that whole clubhouse, right? So,
You're right. He should use that pulpit. Absolutely.
absolutely, yeah.
I mean, I
And
also liked what he
AJ's
said
fine.
about the Dodgers too, that he
Me
thought it
too.
was a good thing. I mean,
Yeah.
here's the deal. Now, he was catching some heat. Somebody on Twitter said, well, he's all about the individual. And it's like, yeah, well, most players want to make as much money as they can.
Weird. Yeah.
But, he raised a good
Yeah.
point.
Concept.
And, full disclosure, guys, my wife is a huge Dodger fan. She grew up in LA, went to USC.
Getting
My
off.
first big league game I ever well, wait, I'm sorry. I saw some Mariners games in the 80s, but they sucked. I grew up in Coeur d'Alene, Idaho. At the
Great
time,
uniforms.
the Spokane Indians were the AAA team of the Dodgers. So that infield, that famous infield from the 80s, say Garvey, Lopes, the Penguin over on, they all came through Spokane. So we saw some really good AAA ball. My only but once I started covering ball, I couldn't cheer for him. But I did
Yeah.
find out that Tommy Lasorda was one of the biggest assholes in all of sports. I used to look up to the guy, but once I covered a few games, and there's not a bigger asshole. Well, Glenn Sather of the Oilers; those two are the two biggest assholes I've ever covered.
Really.
He's
Dang.
I can see that.
He
the
seems
thing
like that. Yep.
Oh yeah, but the thing about they did not ruin baseball. They haven't ruled baseball. They play in a completely different market than San
Yeah.
Diego. And look, I'm not going to tell somebody how to fan however you want, but you need to understand the difference between San Diego and Los Angeles as markets. I mean, there's no comparison. And it's up to the Padres to pull their head out of their ass and not go 24 scoreless innings and lose to the Dodgers. I mean, yeah, they showed it in 22. Yeah, that game 4,
Yep.
where they beat the Dodgers is going to be one of the epic games in San Diego until they can ever get back to the World Series. It's up to them to figure out how to overcome it. But, the fact the Dodgers should not have won the World Series. The
Blue Jays had it. Yeah.
Blue Jays had it in game 6. They had it in
Yep.
game 7. But the fact that the Dodgers won it with guys like Kike and Miggy,
Rojas. Yep.
Rojas, my guy Jimmy Page, Andy Pajes,
Pages.
those guys came through. Was Kike and that double play, I think in game 6, and then Pajes that catch. It wasn't the superstars that won in that World Series.
No.
It was the regular guys. I love Kike. Here's another thing. My oldest boy, he's now 31 or 2. He loves Kike Hernandez, and the reason he does is because the Padres were so shitty during his formative years growing up in San Diego that he looked elsewhere. First of all, it was the Red Sox with he didn't know at the time that that whole 04 team, Man Ram, all those guys, and then he latched onto Kike Hernandez because he would watch games on TV.
He's a personality too.
Yeah, personality, but the Padres sucked. And, our kids migrated away from them to watch teams that won. And so, and Kike's a good dude, and that clubhouse has real chemistry. I've seen enough of it from covering games here.
Yep.
So they're not ruining baseball. I mean, if that was one of the greatest World Series ever, and by rights, they should have lost. They could have lost in 5 games. They should have lost in 6 games. They should have lost in 7. Instead, it goes extra innings in 7, and they win. So they're not ruining it by any means. And so I'm glad Manny said that.
Me too.
But baseball's got a lot of problems. They got to get a salary. They're never going to get a salary cap, but a salary floor wouldn't hurt.
Yeah. What do you think is going to happen with that, Bernie?
Bro, when it's just assume the worst. That's all you can
that's
do.
Good.
Just absolutely assume. Because if
answer.
any sport can step on its Johnson, it's baseball. Absolutely.
That's damn right.
Dude, and you know what? Look. I once again, Ryan. You could probably pull the audio, but I gotta pat myself on the back here. I've been saying this for years now. They just do a bad job overall. They have all the tools to be the best they could be. They're younger than ever. They're more talented than ever. The player pool is unbelievable. Ohtani, Tatis, Machado.
Yeah.
You got all these guys all over the league. Judge, Acuna. You have all these guys. The league should be as good as it possibly could, and it seems like they, like Bernie said, step on their Johnson every chance they get.
Mhm.
And I also want to say, I totally agree. The Dodgers are not ruining baseball. Okay, if they were ruining baseball, they'd be unbeatable. They've been beatable every single time. And I've said, Ryan, you've clipped this for me. I've said this so many times. I don't care how many times they're on the top of the mountain. They are so ready to be knocked off every year.
Yeah.
Every year there's a chance for somebody to do it.
And this last season, I mean, they were their bullpen sucked.
Yep.
Scuffling.
Complete opposite to the year before. Yeah.
Mookie wasn't hitting.
Yeah, I mean, the thing was not a problem because I don't care. The Padres had every chance to overtake the Dodgers and didn't do it.
And they
That
just
was
don't. Yeah, they just
they
didn't.
stepped on their Johnson.
Yeah.
They had every chance to overhaul the Dodgers and didn't do it, and that's on them.
I completely agree, and that's why you can't say they're ruining baseball. Don't give them that much credit.
Right?
You had the chance. You had the chance. First place was in their hand, and they just had to play decent ball, and they did it.
Yeah.
And they did it. 2022, bang. From the corner, bang. We ran into the Phillies, like, whatever, but, like, they were supposed to be so unbeatable that year. They were supposed to be unbelievable, and they lost. 2024, I still don't get what happened. They were supposed to be unbeatable, and it felt like by game 3, it was like, we're going to win.
Yeah.
We're going to win. And they did it.
That's where we need this momentum.
Giving them credit. They're really
I
good.
know.
They're really good.
They're
but
super
they're
good.
beatable. Like,
they reload. They reload every year. They reload. And they have
and why do you think they reload? Because they know. They know. They're like, hey, back-to-back world champs. But, like, it was not a shoe-in. It was not like, it's not just a show up and get it done. Like,
no, you got round ball, round bat. Right?
They should have lost.
They're better this season, though. Kyle Tucker, Diaz.
Well, yeah. Well,
they reloaded.
Hey, you know me. I live in the past. Come on. I'm still thinking about my glory days.
Do you boys think that Tommy, I'll bring you in here, opening day roster? I know I saw your post yesterday, Trev. That was I liking it. That's exactly what I'm talking about. This time of year, you're starting to get all the little predictions like roster, what are we looking like opening day? Trev, Tom, you think we're better so far equipped right now at this point than we were last year as a ball club?
Probably have to pull me up who we've lost last season, but we're better than 2 days ago. That's the one thing that I will say. I said it in the last pod. There's so many gaps to be filled, and I think Preller didn't do them all yesterday, but he's done a pretty good job now. So I'd say we're probably I'd say equal at the moment, and I think he's gonna do some stuff in the middle of the season if he doesn't get anything done in these next couple of weeks at the deadline. So, but yeah, I'd probably go with equal at the moment. Although I could be wrong. I could be forgetting someone big right now.
I think not having Yuli and Hayward as our platoon lefty, and we got Luriano.
Their signings were crazy last season. I can't believe it still. Like, all those guys shouldn't have even been on MLB rosters.
We got, who was the...
This year they're doing a lot better. Jose Miranda, Tristan McKenzie, Nick Castellanos,
Canning.
all league minimum guys. Marquez, Canning.
Good buddy of mine's a Mets fan, season ticket holder. He is bummed that the Mets just didn't even match that. Like, he said he was lights out before he got injured last year. So I really like, it seems, I mean, I've said this so many times recently, but when AJ's kind of had his hands tied behind his back a little bit, that's when it seems like he's been flourishing, as opposed to, not opposed, but before it was like unlimited wallet, the checkbook, blank check from Peter. You could write whatever you want. Let's go get Toddy. Let's get Xander. Let's get Manny, right? Signed in. With him having to get creative with these guys, like the sheet signing last year, right? It just seems like he's doing his best work. So I don't want, like, there's this whole project that he's building. There's always a project. There's always a timeline. the momentum that he's built now with the new ownership group, whoever that may be, is probably going to be this year. It seems like that's heating up. I don't know if you've heard anything on that, Bernie, but just why would we not keep that going? At least steady, have the ship steady. It seems like we're right there. Yeah. We got a great core. Let's just keep building. I'd just give him another 3 to 5 years initially and then see how that goes. Or even if you want to go longer, fine with me. I don't know if they're just like waiting because it's not the new ownership group and they want to have their hands on.
That's a great point. That's always a problem when there's a change in ownership is somebody wants their guy, you know?
Yeah.
And I think you're right. I think it would be, again, I'm not here to, pat somebody on the rear end and say good job, but I think it would be a mistake if they didn't keep Preller. I mean, he knows the organization, he knows how to wheel and deal. He's got the feel for stuff. He knows what it's like competing against the Dodgers or trying to compete. And it just would probably be a massive mistake if they let him walk somewhere else. But this ownership, this ownership thing, I mean, San Diego has not been blessed with great ownership of teams over the years. I mean,
which Brian was here.
Brian Schwarberg, he's the other regular that usually comes on. He put together, I'll send you his PowerPoint, Bernie. He put together about a 10-12 minute presentation a couple pods ago, and it went from Croc all the way down to the Seidlers now, and it was right when we were getting momentum, boom, something happened, and it was phenomenal. So I'll definitely send that over to you. But
I'd like to see it. But I mean, the Peters death was just, it's so sad, and it's just so San Diego. There's something going. There's a good vibe, a guy willing to spend money.
Yeah,
like a drunk sailor. There's nothing. My dad was a drunk sailor staggering through San Diego after World War II. I think he'd appreciate being called that too, because what do sailors do? They drink. But he was such a good guy.
Yeah.
But it's just
such a good soul.
And the family, the feeling of the Peter Seidler, that's vanished. The spirit of Peter is gone. I hate to say it, but it's true. But just to going back, when I came down here in 91, it was the Gang of 15, Tom Werner and the boys. And there was in 92 spring training, they extended, I think it was Andy Bennis. Like it was back then, these were 6-figure salaries, and they extended him. And one of the owners didn't understand how baseball worked because these guys were good at something else. Doesn't mean just because you have the money doesn't qualify you to be a good owner. But he said something like, well, can't we just release him? And it's like, yeah, sure, you can release him, but you still owe him the money, you dumbass.
Guaranteed.
And I don't want to dig too deep into the Spanos thing, but they weren't the second and third generations usually bring things down. Typically, so you just hope that whoever buys the Padres, doesn't screw things up. But there's always that possibility, and I'm not. I've been accused of being negative over the decades. It's like, no, I'm just being realistic. I've seen some real goofy shit here in San Diego.
We've been covering the Padres for over 20 years, 30 years.
You're going to see it. Yeah.
You're going to get a little.
And then dealing with the NFL ball club, saw that too.
Jeez.
So.
Yeah. No, I want us to keep the momentum. Again, AJ's done such a good job just keeping Peter's vision at least alive and steadying the ship with, that's where we were giving a lot of credit to, oh my gosh, not Sleepy Bob. Who was our freaking manager last year? Shilty. Hello. The fact, I don't think Schilt gets enough credit for also continuing the trajectory of where the Padres were going as well. And just that time of turmoil with Peter passing away, the fights between Shield and the brothers and everything. And it was really AJ, group, and Schilt just saying, you know what? We got it, boys. We got to forget, don't listen to anything going behind the scenes. Just worry about what you're doing. And I think they deserve a hell of a lot of credit from how they handled that situation. Because the last 2 years for the Padres specifically, compared to our history, there's been probably two of the top 8 best years that we've had as a franchise, right? You could probably even shrink that to almost 7 or 6, which is a little sad that you can. But all that to say, I think that they deserve a ton of credit. So with Schilt gone, which I think is a fine transition, he obviously, there wasn't something meshing there. AJ's that guy that's still in the seat that can have some continuation, and I just want to see the momentum going there. So,
well, you're right, and he's not afraid to do things. I mean, there really isn't a playbook with him.
No,
Like
it's
some of
his
these
own
other,
playbook.
these other GMs. I mean, you just, the Stammen thing completely out of the blue.
Yep.
All these trade day deals. I remember back in 2015, the winter meetings there when they were signing. He went for the win now thing, and they were trading for Myers and Norris and all
Kemp
these
and Upton,
Camp, all these. I mean, we would literally write one story, quick story, and then there'd be a press release on the next one and the next one, and that was one of the most insane days I've ever had covering sports. And it's like, Jesus, dude, you ever going to stop? It was just, he's not afraid to, some things blow up spectacularly, but at least he's not afraid to try.
You know what?
You'd be covering the Rockies,
That's a good point. And fans here could be, you think things are difficult here. Imagine being a Rockies fan.
Oh, it could be a lot worse.
Oh,
you know what? In that kind of following that logic about just his ability to put together teams and add pieces that you need and like stuff you don't see coming. Thinking about this Nick Castellanos signing, in my opinion, outside of the production, whatever production that we get from him offensively, which is obviously that's the main piece of him being on this roster is what he can do at the plate. Yep. I think that from what I've seen from Nick Castellanos, whether it be controversy or not, he's got a little bit, and I'll go back to our Tony Gwynn phrase. He's got a little bit of red ass in him, a little bit of like, a little bit of like, fuck you, do it right. Yep. You know what I mean? Like, I feel like he's a kind of guy that's not afraid to get in somebody's face, whoever they are on the roster, however much money they're making, be like, hey, that's not right. Like, we have a plan here. We have a goal. Let's do this thing. And like, albeit maybe his methods are maybe a little critiqued, right? We talk about the story that just came out about the beer in the dugout. But to me, that's something I think the Padres could use. I think that you have a lot of personalities and you have a lot of big contracts and you have a lot of emotion, right? Like when we're flying high, the San Diego Padres are flying high. We are feeling good. Partying in the dugout, swag chains, celebrations. But when it's going bad, it's not fun to watch.
No.
It is not fun to watch Tatis mope out to right field. Like, that is not fun. And I feel like Nick Castellanos might be the guy to be like, no, I don't want to see that. Like,
full season of Laureano too.
Yeah, like a Laureano kind of type guy. Like, a little bit of that. Maybe like a more outspoken Laureano even.
Yeah.
It's like a little bit more of a vet maybe. Laureano took on a whole dugout. He was like, let's go. Like, you know what I mean? I like that signing for that reason. Obviously, we hope he has a little bit of a resurgence with the bat. Like, all this talk about his bat speed going down, save it. I don't care. Give me some production. And give me that, like, a little bit of pepper. Like, give me a little
chip
bite
on his shoulder, too.
Yeah, Dodgers got better. So what? Let's go. Like, give me that. That's what I want.
Yeah.
Some fight.
No, that's a good point, Nick, because you think back, and it was alluded to earlier, how the hell do you go 24 innings without scoring a run? How do you go from being on the verge of – I remember walking into Petco Park for what was it, Game 4, and everybody's going to say, hey, we'll see you back here Sunday night for Game 1 of the NLCS. And then
we were there, Nick.
So there was not only that, but then last year when they go to Chicago, and how many runs did they score in?
Oh, it's like I think they got 6 runs in the whole series or whatever.
How do you do that? There's something missing, whether it's mental or whether it's the red ass. But I sort of alluded to Preller in the offseason. I saw him somewhere and said, you guys got to get so-and-so and so-and-so to get off their ass.
Yep.
And Nick, you mentioned Tatis. I love covering Tatis, but you got to stop moping. You got to stop. You
take that next step.
Been in the game too long. been in the game too long to keep doing that. You know?
Exactly. Somebody's got to get to these guys, and maybe it'll be Castellanos. Get some red ass going, because Ted, I was an absolute failure at baseball. I mean, going back to in Little League, I was nicknamed Strikeout King. But you learn,
and I wasn't a pitcher.
Yeah, exactly. Well, one of my greatest baseball accomplishments was in junior college at North Idaho College. The newspaper and the journalism guys, we had a rec leagues or an intramural softball team, and we were playing. We weren't good. We were going up against the number one team, a bunch of jocks, and so we went over to a guy's apartment and just got absolutely shit faced. And we beat them, but I struck out 3 straight times on 9 pitches. Swing. And the real baseball players, the JC baseball players, some of those are ballers. They got them dogging in JC. They're standing. I knew them from covering them. They're yelling, "Keep your head down. Stop moving your head. Keep around the ball," and stuff like that. But you learned back then, don't take a bat out to the field, and don't take a bad inning at the field to the plate. And something's missing with the Padres. It might be that simple.
Yeah.
But maybe some red ass is what they need to. I mean, you just can't go 24 innings without scoring, and you can't go into the wild card series looking like a bunch of lame ass whatever, and just get rolled by the Cubs. So maybe Nick, maybe Castellanos will get up there and dispense some red ass. So something's missing. And maybe it's as simple as some good old Tony Gwynn red ass.
He's the winner.
You said it. And Ryan, you know what? Going back to what you said, like the chip on the shoulder, it's almost like
it's huge for
someone.
him
And listen, you guys know I'm a huge Padres fan, and that'll never ever change. But like sometimes I feel like they need to be reminded that you guys haven't won shit.
No.
Like
that would help.
Where's this ego from?
You guys have not won shit. Going out and not scoring for 24 innings tells me that, I understand how baseball works. The ball bounces different every single time, but you can't do that. You can't do that and be like, hey, we're still sweet. Like, look at our roster. We're sweet. No, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. And Bernie, you're right. They're missing something, because that kind of thing doesn't happen to a team that understands the position that they're in.
Right.
And I haven't even been watching baseball longer than you've been covering it, writing about it, to know that if you have that chip on your shoulder, this kind of conversation isn't happening, right? There's a difference between going out there with a red ass and getting beat in a good game or a good series and getting beat, and needing to be reminded that you guys still have something to prove.
Yep.
Yeah, and not to bring up the Dodgers, but I remember covering the 88 NLCS. I was like sidebar boy or something, and it was Mets, Dodgers, and if I got my facts, it's a long time ago and I'm having senior moments, but I was doing a Dodger sidebar, and I believe the Mets won game 1 at Dodger Stadium. And the Dodgers were so fucking pissed off coming off the field into the tunnel, into the clubhouse. It's like, Jesus Christ, we're going to die right here. They were that pissed off about, not that you have to be pissed off after losing every game, but to Nick's point, I mean, show some, at least, and they ended up, beating the Mets and winning the World Series that year. But I specifically remember how pissed off they were at losing that game. And the Padres, we used to accuse the Chargers of being San Diego soft. And I don't think we're far off the mark.
That's exactly the vibe. Right? That's exactly what I'm describing.
That was the vibe that they had, and you got to wonder. And I say this only, I'm raising it as a question, not an accusation. Are the Padres San Diego soft? Do they need to get past something to prove that they're not San Diego soft? We all know how nice it is here, and how everybody wants to play in San Diego, the ballpark, the sunshine, the vibes. But are they getting San Diego soft? Do they need to get past this softness and go out there and beat somebody's ass seriously? And
hell yeah, they do.
Yeah, bro, you've been here forever. You're a baller. My bro T. Bro played ball in Grossmont College. That's East County balling. But you do got to wonder. You got, as Tony Gwynn, gotta. He loved the word gotta. Is there a San Diego soft component that they've got to get past?
Gotta.
Grossmont
in the house. Let's go.
Nice. That's awesome.
I think you're right, man. It's got that feeling of just like kind of laissez-faire, like we're still gonna sell out every game. Like
still got my Rolex on.
Yeah, come on, like it's sweet.
One thing to have a memory of a goldfish, and it's another to be complacent with losing, right?
Yeah, no, guys, like let's win. It's not enough for me to have a sexy roster. Like if you called me in 2017 and you're like, "Do you like going to Pods games?" I'm like, "Yeah." Pretty good food, got a nice beer, the view's amazing, but like it's a 74-win team. I'd rather go to that dumpster fire of Dodger Stadium every single night and fucking win. Yeah. Sorry for you're going to have to bleep extra bleeps tonight, Ryan, but I'd rather win.
And that's another good point. One time when my kids were in grade school during that horrible time when the Padres sucked, I wanted to give my wife a break. And I told the boys, I got tickets. We're going down to see the Padres. They didn't want to go.
Wow.
Red-blooded American boys living in a team. I grew up 300 miles from Major League Baseball. And they were the Mariners. They sucked. But if you wanted to see big league ball and you were a young Bernie Wilson, you had to drive 300 miles to see a game in the Kingdome. I loved the Kingdome. It was an awful atmosphere, but it was big league ball. But my boys did not want to drive 20 minutes down to Petco Park, but I needed to give my wife a break. I said, okay, we're going. We're going to stop at In-N-Out on Massachusetts, stop at 94. You're going to get in and out, and then I'm going to give you each $20 to get your Dippin' Dots or whatever, but we're fucking going to the game. They didn't want to go to a big league baseball game because the Padres were that shitty.
They sucked.
They were
boring.
Oh yeah,
that's why we like AJ, because it's night and day from what it used to be. We grew up with such shitty games.
At least the excitement.
We don't got Ryan Schimpf in the 4-hole.
Schimpfy.
Hey, he probably has the best freaking home run to at bat ratio in MLB history. I think at that rate from that one season.
Janko. The boys.
But all righty. Well, I think we'll get wrapped up here in a sec.
Let's do the take on Nick and
exactly. Thank you, Trev. I was just thinking that Tom's been doing a little good amount of research. Got a couple questions lined up, which I love.
I sure did.
I mean, have you? Yeah. In one sec. Yeah. I mean, Bernie, have you ever been doing a 3:45 a.m. story rating? I'm sure. But
the only thing I'm doing at 3:45 is getting up to take a leak. without accidentally knocking the cat off the bed. No, I've never even pulled an all-nighter in college. Just never did it. But so Tom's doing the Lord's work.
He is.
Yeah, I've see the thing about the AP, you want to write as fast as you can so you get out of there. So I've never done a 3:45 a.m. thing.
Also, you had to get in before the newspaper.
Well, yeah,
right. So
no, absolutely, yeah. You don't screw around. You're not going to win a Pulitzer covering a Padres Reds game in mid-July.
2 days later, yeah, that's
yeah. So
sweet. All righty, yeah. Well, we'll do a few questions here, Nick. You could pop off if you want. Just right. I mean, same thing as Take on Woods. We just
I'm gonna mute you a few questions. Trev, text me when it's time to come back.
Okay, sounds good. We'll ask you a few questions, Bernie, and then Nick will come on. We'll ask him the same ones.
Okay.
It's an honor system, so he shouldn't have his audio still on. So Tom or Trev, you want to talk some shit about Nick right now, then we'll know if he's listening or not. If he comes back into frame.
Glasses look like shit. No, I'm looking up questions right now. Do you have some, Tom?
Tom has a couple.
I've got two.
So, Tom, you want to get us rolling? It's no time limit, nothing like that. Basically, who gets the most right wins a good round of applause. Maybe you might get a little hand clap on the Zoom here for the dub. So maybe we'll get you gin and tonic at the game. How about that, Bernie?
There you go.
Yeah.
About 5 questions. Do you think that's...
Yeah, 5 solid. I like it.
Perfect. So this one, you get a point for the closest. And it's, what date did the Padres play their first game at Petco Park?
Let's say April 4th, 2004.
Okay, that was so you got 4 off. So if somebody keeps a note of that, I'll actually text Ryan now. And then the next one is, what's the most amount of home runs Tony Gwynn hit in a year, in a season?
Oh boy, see, I'm not real good at that. I'm just going to take a flyer. I know one year he found some power. 18.
1 off. 17.
Okay.
That was good.
That was solid.
All right, that's all I got at the moment. I can try and find another
Okay,
one.
who was the first Padre to hit 50 home runs?
Was it Greg Vaughn?
Yep.
Okay.
98.
Yep, no, on the nose. Last game at Arizona, line drive.
Oh, really?
He was so tight you could pound coal up his ass and he'd fart diamonds. He was just so tight, approaching 50. Yeah, last game of the season at Arizona, left field fence. They flew that night to Houston for the series against the Astros, the playoff series, last game of the season.
Wow. Yeah, he had a great year. He was one of my favorite players that year.
He's a great guy. Really solid.
Nice. Ryan, you have any?
I got one. Which player on the Padres once walked on only 3 balls? And if that one is way out of left field, I have 4 answer choices for you.
Oh, God. Is he a current Padre or a former Padre?
Former, I would say early 2000s.
Okay, I'm going to take a flyer and say, and then I've got a joke to follow up. I'm going to say Phil Nevin.
Nope.
Okay, here's the joke. Do you know what you do to an elephant with 3 balls?
No. What do you do?
Walk him and pitch to the zebra. That's way out of left field, but it's a baseball joke. Okay, so I have no idea who walked on 3 balls.
So we have Cameron Maben.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
News to me. I wouldn't have got that one.
Yeah.
I was actually at that game when him and Carlos Beltran on the Mets collided at Petco.
So wait, how'd that happen where he walked on 3 balls?
No idea. That's only the question. No idea. Maybe the umpire wasn't paying attention. Got no clue. I wouldn't have got it. So I just thought that was. And I was trying to get one that Nick probably wouldn't get. That's a tough too. Like anyone, I should have given the 4 options. I won't give Nick the 4 options. Let's see. Which Padre hit 5 home runs in one day?
Oh, that would have been. I know exactly who it is, and he died recently, and I'm spacing on his name because I get senior moments. Nate Colbert?
Yes, sir. That's it. Yep.
Okay.
Perfect. All right.
Doubleheader, right?
Yep. Doubleheader.
Mm-hmm. 5
That's a good one.
All right.
All right, you gonna text
5
Nick or
right there. Yep. I'll tell Nicky that we back. Nick, we back. All right, and then we had start date of Petco, TG home runs. Trevor, yours was first to 50.
Yeah.
And then walk on 3 pitches and 5 homers in a single 24-hour period. Didn't give any of the answers in case Nicky B was listening in there. Nicky,
All right, welcome back.
No more
I'm
boys.
all
No
right,
more
so.
talking about Nick.
All right.
Now that he's got audio.
I'm back.
Back. All right. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, you're good. Tommy, you want to start us off again?
Yep. So, what date did the Padres play their first game at Petco Park?
Okay. I hope this is the easiest one. April 8th, 2004 versus the San Francisco Giants. Immediately after San Diego State played.
That is
Bang on.
correct.
Straight on it, yeah.
Boo.
First point, Nick.
Hey, you guys, I know you're conspiring about me. You guys were probably talking shit like Ryan always suggests. I've gone back and listened to the podcast, by the way.
You can.
Want to talk shit?
The next one's what's Bernie's cat's called?
Yeah.
Chuckles.
No, it's
Garfield.
oh shit, I've lost it now.
It's Hannah.
Oh yeah, what's
It's
the
Hannah.
What's the most amount of home runs Tony Gwynn has hit in a season? The number.
I don't think he ever cleared 20. 16.
Oh, we got a tie there.
That is a tie.
Tie.
Reason being.
So he hit 17. Bernie guessed 18.
Oh, so we were both one off.
I like it.
If you round it up, then that's Bernie's, I think.
Yep.
Yeah, I think Bernie gets that one.
Sure.
He was closer. All right, who was the first Padre to hit 50 home runs in a season?
It's either Vaughn or Sheffield. Greg Vaughn.
Yep.
Correct. Nick's pretty good at this, bro. Will.
I love my Padres history. I've read that Wikipedia page too many times.
I can tell.
It's a small bit of history to remember.
Good thing.
Let's see. Who was the only player? I guess who was a player that walked on 3 balls?
The only player to walk on 3 balls?
Yeah.
For the Padres.
For the Padres.
Okay, because I was gonna say I'm pretty sure Randy Rosarena did it like not that long ago.
That's very true. This is a Padres podcast.
God. Was I alive when this happened?
You were early 2000s.
Early 2000s.
And I should have given 4 options, but I didn't to our bro over here. So I can't give you 4.
Early 2000s? Okay, I'm going to guess Mark Loretta.
Nope.
No, I like to guess. Mike Cameron.
Mike Cameron.
No, I
Yeah.
thought you said Cam Maven.
Cameron Maven. That is correct.
Okay. Hey,
That's late
hey,
2000s
hey,
then.
Hey, yeah. I was going to say, I would have said
This is why
Maven if I knew the era. No, I'm just kidding.
That is hilarious, actually.
That's a really good question. That's a great one.
Yeah, sorry, I was thinking Cameron Maven in my head. I was thinking Mike Cameron in my head with the collision. I don't think Cameron Maven collided with anyone other than the wall.
Yeah,
a
it
couple
was
times,
it was Mike Cameron who had.
Yeah,
that.
Mike Cameron.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I had in my head. But
Yeah.
Cameron Maven.
Wow.
I have zero context as to how or why he walked in 3 pitches, but there we go. And then last one of the bunch, which Padre hit 5 homers in a single day, 24-hour period? Maybe not 24-hour period. 1 day, same date.
All right, so pretty sure Padres never hit 5 in a game, so I'm thinking doubleheader. I don't know. I feel like I want to say it was the guy who Adrian Gonzalez beat for the most Padres home runs or something, and then that was beat by Manny. I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. I'm gonna say doubleheader, 3 home runs, probably 3 and 2. I don't know. I can't remember his name. Last name starts with a C. I don't know. I have no idea.
Does it? Sorry, the Z.
I feel like I can't remember the guy's name. It's like
Is that?
Okay, I know. I don't know who his name is, but I know it's got to be the guy who had hit the most homers in his Padres career before, Manny.
What kind of Padre fan are you, bro? You don't know this guy's name?
Oh, please.
Wasn't
Wow,
his era.
dude.
Give me a hint. Give me a hint.
He has
You've seen the picture of him kneeling on one knee with a bat and 5 balls.
Yep.
Nate Colbert.
Yep, that's it.
There you go.
So because
I've seen that picture.
Yeah, right. That's I was like, that might be too good of a hint. So with that, since Bernie helped you on that one, I think we're gonna give it to Bernie, and then Bernie gets the dub.
I'd be happy for a tie and to have you guys buy Nick and I a Cutwater cocktail at a game sometime. How's that?
All right,
I like
deal.
That was
even
technically
better.
a tie. I ran out of time.
Everybody wins.
Nick with the spot on Pecco one. You boys tied on Tony.
That's
I like the Loretta one, even though I can't run the trivia for whatever reason. I mess up the answer. So thank you, Tom and Trev, for helping out with that. Apparently, the hosts can't do trivia hosting. That's for damn sure.
3-ball question. That's a great trivia question, though. 3 balls walked on 3. That's a really good one. I don't even know how you found that.
Yeah.
They called me in college.
You stepped away, so you missed my joke. Do you know what you do to an elephant with 3 balls?
Oh my God! Wait, hold on. I totally know this. Is it like it's like pitch to the zebra or something? Is that what it is?
Walk him, and pitch to the zebra. Exactly. See, Nick
I've heard that.
He's a big ball guy.
I'm trying to think whose celebration of life it was at Pecco. It might have been Dick Enberg. But there was some Hollywood guy that Dick knew, an agent or something. He's just an absolute live wire. He just had this completely off the wall remembrance of Enberg, and he drops that joke right in the middle of the celebration of life. Just hey, y'all know what do you do to an elephant with 3 balls? And everybody's like, oh God, what what's he saying?
It's like a dick joke or something.
Yeah, they think it's a dick joke because it's simple. You walk him and pitch to the zebra.
I'm pretty sure my JUCO pitching coach used to say that. He'd be like, he's like, you fall behind, walk him, get to the zebra. I don't know.
It's so stupid. It's funny.
Yeah,
I mean,
that's good.
Perfect timing too, because of the 3-ball question.
Yeah.
So I love it.
Beautiful.
Well, Bernie, it's been an absolute blast. We'll definitely hit you up with some Cutwaters. I mean, those things are a little strong, so maybe 2 or 3.
They are. They're strong and they're not cheap either. So
yeah, but hey, at least pack a punch for the. It's like $1 per % of alcohol in there.
There you go. Yeah.
It's been a pleasure having you on. Obviously, we'd love to have you back.
Thanks,
thank you, Bernie. Appreciate
anytime.
you, man.
No, this has been good. Hope I didn't hog all the time from
Welsh we could have you talk the whole time. So
it was so fun.
That was awesome.
I really appreciate it, Bernie.
Anytime, guys.
Yeah, you're the man. Appreciate you, bro. Tom, you're a fucking legend, staying up here to the wee hours of the Welsh chilly night. Thank you, sir.
Thank you. No,
apologies for the French result, but
that was so fun. Oh yeah, let's not talk about that. But no, that was really fun. I'd say that was probably I didn't speak at all, but that was my favorite podcast of all time.
It was so
I'd say.
That was so fun.
That was awesome. I love that. Thank you so much, Bernie. That was awesome.
Yeah, thanks, Bernie.
All right, I'm off to get another gin and tonic.
Appreciate
I'll toast you fellas.
Yeah,
once it's mixed.
Thank
Get
you,
after it, Bernie.
I will, like a dog.
Appreciate you.
See you, bros.
Yeah.
Remember,
later, bro. Thank you.
All right, take care, guys.
See you,
thanks,
bro.
Bernie.
Yeah,
appreciate you.
Thank you for listening to another episode of the Podfathers, a Slam Diego Padres podcast. The Podfathers is produced by Los and Walls and is executively produced by Jacob Lamb.
Our theme song is A Bubba by Trylock.
To get in touch with the show, follow us on Twitter at Podfathers619. That is at PADFATHERS619. Or email us at podfathers@gmail.com. Subscribe to us on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and all other major audio platforms.
Go Pods.